Hello, and welcome back to another Sunday live stream. How's everyone doing today? I am... Dude, have you ever done something that made you feel old? I was just yawning yesterday. That's it. Sitting down, yawning. And I feel this muscle in my back just like tense. And I haven't been able to turn my neck since. Like that's about as far as I can get before the pain starts going. I pulled a muscle back there. It affected my arm most of yesterday and my neck, outplayed by a yawn. The first thing I thought was, dang, sucks getting old, man. Can't even yawn without feeling my body break. Yeah, slight movement, man. It's like, I'm not even doing anything strenuous. How did I pull a muscle? Time for daily hip stretches. That's what I was reading, that like probably it was a lot of tension put on that muscle over a long time, and the yawn tensed up the muscles there, and that was just, the straw that broke the camel's back there. And so like I gotta stretch more. I stretch my legs in the morning because my calves tend to get pretty tight. If I try to do anything more strenuous than just walking, if I do like a little jog, or I like to jump, which sounds weird, but we have what is it, like a vaulted ceiling in the living room, but then we have like a lower roof going into the hallway into the back rooms, and I just like to jump and see how high I can reach on the wall there as the ceiling comes down. But you do that a couple times and the calves start to stiffen, so I stretch my legs, but I need to start stretching more, I suppose. Work with people 20 to 30 years younger and do not understand them. Also tried skipping at work. That didn't work and pulled a hamstring. You're not young anymore. A budding basketball career? Absolutely not. I don't mind playing basketball. I used to play it quite a bit more when I was younger, just casually. But I was really good at the hustle, at the defense, at steals. I would always pass the ball, though. I'm not taking that shot. Ladders will become your nemesis. I figured they would become my friends. I would have to use them more. But I suppose, being on a ladder is also dangerous. But yeah, so that's been my weekend so far, is getting taken out by a yawn. And the thing was too, is it hurt. My body went into a feeling as if I broke a bone. Like I had a pit in my stomach, and then I started getting nauseous. I thought I was gonna throw up. And like I had never gotten that from pulling a muscle. Like that just happens, right? You just pull a muscle, you get over the initial pain, and then you just, you take care of it for a while. But no, dude, it was tough. I didn't know what happened. Friend mean getting you into heaven. Then yes, ladders will get you there. Oh man. Give me directions to the old folks home. Massage me after I yawn. Ah, jeez. Yeah, take care of your bodies, y'all. It can turn on you pretty quickly. Hey, No Man is an Island, welcome. Let's get the welcomes in. We got Poipu, we got Charm Tiger, Observe the Train, Shading with the Gray, Arkonji, Pear, and Mark are all here. I'm sure there's some more as well. Welcome everyone to the live stream. Let's get some music going today, especially since we have a little bit more than I would have wanted to have today. We have 13 tracks. One of them is a double request. I don't know how long it is. If it's pushing like 13, 14 minutes, we basically have 14 requests today that we need to get through. So let's get this rolling. My advice would just be don't get old. Fantastic. I'll work on that immediately. The alternative is a bit worse. Yeah. We have something pretty interesting to kick today off. Shallowater, all one word, sharing the W. God's gonna give you $1 million. I don't know what's going on here, but this thumbnail has me real curious. Song list in the pin. I knew I missed something. I was getting a little behind today. I actually just finished up about 20 minutes ago, which is pretty wild for me. Usually I like to have everything set up an hour in advance just so I have that nice buffer. Did not have that, and it ended up making me miss something. There we go, though. That is pinned for the rest of the stream. Enjoy it. Six, seven. The crazy thing about 6-7, dude, is I thought it was dead. January 1st, all I heard from these kids were that 6-7 was a 2025 meme. It wasn't even funny anymore. I feel like I've heard it more now than I did last year. And part of it is my generation picking it up now, which is stupid. Hard when you can't turn your head. Yeah, it is. I'm doing a lot of the, the Batman shoulder turn. The whole body rotates so that I can look around. For those who might be a bit too old for that, the original 1989, 87 Tim Burton Batman film, the costume, the cowl was so stiff. I don't remember who acted Bruce Wayne that time. But they had to like move their whole body to look around. There was no neck movement. That Michael Keaton, was it Keaton? I think it was. The film's still great. Yes, I agree. I do like Returns as well. I wasn't too big of a fan of Batman and Robin. Batman Forever was hilarious. I will watch that all day long. Super campy. Feels like a nice throwback to the 66 Batman while having the like iconography of the modern day Batman. That was just great. I know people panned it, but it's one of my favorites. Synops, how are you? Young kids seem to like the 6-7 stuff. Got a nephew who mentioned it recently. He's like 9. All right. I guess there's just no escaping that one. With that said, let's dive into some Shallowater. Oh, dive in. That's good. Let's see. We got context. No context from Vale here. Every generation has their silly jokes. That's true. That's true. I still barely understand the whole Gen Z E thing with like a picture of Lord Farquaad or something. I don't remember. I think Azathoth explained that to me one time, and it required like 7 pieces of knowledge to understand the joke. And talking about neck injuries, diving into shallow water. All right. Let's see what's going on with this. Oh wait, let's get this volume set right. You've got your $1 million. It does start a little on the quieter side, but the volume will kick up. And a handful of roses. The medieval ages generation had that hilarious black plague cat. You were always thinking. One of the darker jokes on the channel. Start to miss that when I get homesick. Take me north of nowhere, where it snows twice a year. Interesting. The coins in the eyes. One last Yeah, gotta pay the boatman. It's interesting to pair that with the working out, which is usually for increased health benefits. Staying active and all. Did he curve that sign? It like flipped and came back. Okay. There's either two drummers or the drum part was recorded twice. I don't understand how they're doing what they're doing with just two arms. Unless that was an acrostic. But it sounds just like acrostic. Maybe they've got more than two arms. You know, I can't argue with that. I didn't see the drummer at all in this. Very interesting track though. The beginning kind of leans a little too almost like an Americana bluesy ballad. And then we have some Midwest emo thrown in there as I think it was Helicon mentioned a built to spill sort of vibe there. Then we had noise and then more noise and then louder noise with a solo. And then we came back to that ballad sound. Hmm. I wish I knew the words to this one. I think that would give a bit of insight into what they're trying to showcase. Because to me, I get sorrow, sadness, followed by something dreamlike, but still grounded. Almost as if the dream isn't as fantastical as it could be. And then whatever the noise represents, some sort of anger or, I don't know, dissonance in life or something. But then we're back to the dreariness of the start. But it's also a return to a norm. We've left the dreamscape, we've left the noise, and we're just back to the way things were. I don't know. I think about all the tales of people winning the lottery and blowing the cash in a couple of years and winding back exactly where they were, never using it wisely to advance themselves, financially at least. And I wonder if that's kind of what we're looking at here, this cycle. Having freedom, the stresses that come from that, and then winding up where you are. If I had time, I would. Like I mentioned, we have 13 tracks and one of them's double picks, so I don't really feel like I have a lot of leeway to dive in. But I'm really intrigued by this track. I'm going to pull this one down in a different area of my desktop to kind of remind myself to look into it today. I'd join a religion for $1 million. I wonder if that's why I had no context, though. The wild shift at the end. What I was talking about, though, in the final moments, we have some ghost notes on the snare that kind of sandwich around a cross stick hit on the downbeat. And I don't know how you could go from lightly tapping it to placing the stick across the entire drum and hitting the rim and then going back. It's just too quick. No times for commenting, just play the music. We're already probably looking at like 2.5 hours as it is. So I don't know. Y'all got Sunday stuff to do. I got Sunday stuff to do. It is Father's Day also. Just thought about that. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Oh, you know something else though, at the back of my mind is I also have to record tomorrow's early access. And I think if we run this over, I'm gonna have a tough time sitting that in while also getting to my Father's Day stuff today. Oh, okay. So happy Father's Day for the US then? Father John Misty, yes. Good eye. Woke up a bit late, so missed a track, but this was mine. Really, really good track and phenomenal album. This came in number 5 on my album of the year, which is atypical for me considering the somewhat country back. Okay, yeah, so I kind of caught on to that Americana bluesiness at the beginning. It didn't really feel like modern country to me, but it did feel like country of a yesteryear. But then we shifted into emo and then noise, and the country kind of forget about it until we come back to that outro. Yeah, interesting track though. Also, dude, that sign flipper though, he used his legs, kicked it away from him, it spun and came back. I don't know, dude, that was crazy. I don't know what slowcore is. That like just slow hardcore? Alt country fits though. Like a real reactor. Oh man. You weren't listening at the drum part? It was the very end. It was the last drum part of the song, the last 20 seconds or so. Low is not ringing a bell right now. I know we've checked them out, but I can't place a sound to that artist name. But yeah, I was listening to the drums, like, yeah, we got some cross stick. That's pretty cool. It's a nice low energy. Really great for ballads. I was like, ah, cool. We got some ghost notes in there. They're happening at the same time. How's that possible? So that was a fun little realization there. And the only reason I think it stands out is because guitars double tracking themselves, vocalists double tracking themselves. These are very common. I can't think of too many drum parts that require double tracking. That just kind of stands out to me as an oddity. I think one of the few times I've seen that was with Leprous, and we ended up watching a drum cam, and a tech came over and played the lowest tom while the drummer did the rest of the stuff. Like it was obviously designed for 3 arms. So I don't know how they would do that live. That was for like a recording session for like a one-shot recording, a one take. But like on tour, do they just have some guy run in from off the stage, do the pattern on the tom, and then leave? So soft hit sounded like closing the hi-hat. Okay, that's possible. That would explain that then. Band itself is from Lubbock? Lubbock? I don't know where that is. Fitting style for the area though. Jury and noisy. All right. Father John Misty. I believe we've checked out something from this artist in the past, but oh, Texas. Okay, yep. I feel a lot of Texas in that's for sure. Just have 2 drum kits on stage? That's wild too. Oh, you know, all the cows and the horse riding. Yeah, okay, Texas checks out. This one comes at us from Michael. Figured the stream needed more lyrically driven folk music. I'm sure it'll mix nicely with the death metal. I don't know. So far, the randomizer put 2 tracks together that kind of go well. Father John's one of the top lyricists. That's crazy. I mean, folk, I would assume, is full of great lyricists. Kind of what the genre is built around. But to hear this is one of the top, I'm excited. I'm going to try to spend some time with the lyrics on this one and see if I can hear what's going on there. Let's dive in.
We met in a parking lot, was buying coffee and cigarettes, firewood and bad
So this is a sincere
wine
track
since
then.
gone. But I'm still drunk and hot, wide awake, and breathing hard. Now in just 1 year's time I've become jealous, rail thin, prone to paranoia when I'm stoned. This isn't true love, someone oughta put me in a home.
I love that violin inclusion.
Say, do you wanna get married and put an end to our endless progressive tendency to scorn provincial concepts like your dowry and your daddy's farm? For love to find us of all people, I never thought it'd be so simple.
Really interesting. The music resolved, but he just stuck to that note. The consonant harmony of the vocals and violin on top of the dissonance in the guitar.
Let's buy a plantation house and let the yard grow wild till we don't need the signs that say keep out. I've got some money left and it's cheaper in the South. I need someone I can trust to protect me from our 7 daughters when my body says enough. Don't let me die in a hospital. I'll save the big one for the last time we make love. Insert here a sentiment.
I kind of agree with that.
All 'cause I went to the store one day. I've seen you around. What's your name?
Lyrics aside, you think vocals are the weakest part? Wow. I thought the vocal delivery was gorgeous. I do agree that I would have liked a little more emotion out of them. I was trying to read the emotion of the song, and it's split so far. Like the guitars have a dreariness to it, the violins are uplifting, and the vocals are bittersweet, kind of being the tie between those two worlds. I found the not clashing, but contrasting emotions really interesting there. And I was really leaning into the vocals, hoping that the performance would explain to me where some of these lines were supposed to fit emotionally, but it doesn't really put too much emotion into it. It is more of a, strong technical singing here. Classic crooner style without the power of the delivery. Yeah. But I do think that just comes from me being a fan of more theatric performances, and this one being a bit more technically sound than performative. But I mean, the dude's a phenomenal singer. The sheer breath control on display here, the falsetto there at the end, the harmonizing with the violin. Excellent, excellent stuff. I love the subtlety of everything too. I was talking about the sort of violins and guitars being in their own worlds, and the ways that they created these interesting mixed sounds when they were played together. I mean, that's it. You have a violin and a guitar and a vocal, and yet they can create so much dynamic music out of that. It's subtle, it's minimal, but it's not simple, and I really appreciate that. But that's primarily from a harmonic side. Melodically, this is fairly straightforward. Rhythmically, we don't have anything too dense in here, but it's designed to create an atmosphere for a story to be told within. I think it does a great job within that context. That's what folk does well. And this is a great folk track. I didn't pick up the story though. He went to the store, he locked eyes with someone, and a relationship bloomed out of that. Is that what I got? But I don't know, I think I stopped listening towards the end to the lyrics specifically. I was trying to figure out where that bittersweet part was coming in. I like the idea of writing a song about the future of a relationship that hasn't happened yet. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, that's interesting. The whole thing is basically a dream, a what if scenario. And that's where the bittersweet part comes in because it didn't all happen. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty neat. I dig that. Ties everything together rather well. It's also seemingly about something that did happen. So he based a song that was about a hypothetical around a real relationship that he did have that happened in that way. There's layers to this. I'm not sure I enjoy the layers, but they're there. That's a really interesting thing to take your life experience and then view it from a different perspective. He's a complex guy. All right. We got some Shape of Despair here. I'm not thinking this is going to be a happy track. Something about the name of this band. Two pretty solid tracks to kick this mega stream off. Yeah, dude. Really great way to ease into our Saturday, Sunday. I know what day it is. I may have messed up the releases this weekend, but I know what day it is. Cardcaptor Jammy, love this band. I've never heard of them before, so I'm excited to dive into it. Also, welcome to the stream. The track is called, is that Woundheir or Woundheir? I don't know. That's an interesting word regardless. Maybe it's not English, which could, I guess it would make more sense, or it could make more sense in another language if it comes from another language. It doesn't really make a lot of sense in English. It's a strange compound word there. This one comes at us from Novin Styles. I expect everyone to hate this. No. No, but this is a Funeral Doom concept album about being lured into the woods by Fae, and odd as it is, I've always found it to work very well. All right. You got a sunny day? Pretty sure it's just a made-up word. All right, let's dive into this. See what's going on. Awesome intro. At least I know what I'm in store for. Let's kick it. Got a little 3 pulse here. Let's see, what do we have? Oh, it's about to rain where I'm at, but yeah, we have highs of 96 Fahrenheit today, which is pretty rough. The real feel the other day was like 111. Absolutely ridiculous. The strings in this track are a nice addition, and it's not quite as heavy as I would expect doom metal to be. About an hour after, okay. I still have clear skies, but my little weather widget's telling me there's rain already, so I don't know. Oh, why does this remind me of like, the Twin Peaks soundtrack, but with a distorted guitar? Well, that's good to know. Definitely have cool interiors when I need to be there. Is that Faith No More, FNM? Dude, 46 Fahrenheit's a little chilly, but I would take that over this, I think. Alright, I've never heard Angel Dust, but I think I've said before, I haven't listened to a lot of Faith No More, just their singles. Freaky is a good word, though. Doom metal typically feels overbearingly heavy, and this doesn't. It has an eeriness that I don't typically associate with the genre. I wonder where this takes place in the story of being lured into the woods. Are we already in the woods? Did we see something? Or we're investigating? Music to discuss weather. Angel Dust. most influential and interesting metal albums by Faith No More, nonetheless. Alright. It's interesting that you hear fantasy. Something about it says, I don't know, industrialized, mechanical maybe. I think it's just a slow creep of it. Super consistent. Fantasy to me tends to be more exploratory. Oh, okay, so that might be a thing too. Eastern European fantasy. No, the little bit of metal is certainly from the distorted guitars, and they are such a small part of this. I do like the syncopated delay on the guitar, kind of giving us that swing feel. The atmosphere is great. I don't know if I would listen to this on my own, but it's certainly creating this eerie darkness really well. But there's also something alluring to it. It's not just ominous. I think it's the flute that's kind of creating an inviting sound. Yeah, ominous beat, I'll give you that. Stormy Weather and Sea of Thieves. Okay. Haven't played that one, but I can certainly see, especially the 3 vibe. The 3 pulse is really great for watery themes. Okay, finish. You know, it's kind of growing on me. I'm gonna pull this one down. I gotta check out the rest of this album. You know, when people say that they fall asleep to metal, I'm just going to assume they're talking about this now because this is very soothing. Something about this that just works. Yeah. Very hypnotic. It is very one note. It does its thing. It's incredibly focused on this one sound. But I love how they still find ways to layer it up. Could this have been half the length? Yes, even then it still would have felt like a slow burn. But I think that's the point of it too. If this is a track about sort of being pulled into this world, I think it works well. There's a little bit of eeriness and darkness, but mystery, and you want to look into that. And once you start checking things out, diving a little deeper, that's when it gets its hooks in you, and now you just can't turn away. There's something beautiful, but strange here. It is scary, but the scariness, the darkness, it's kind of on the periphery. You don't really notice it until you're in too deep. And then you've got the siren songs coming in, and now, I mean, now the song's just gorgeous. You can't stop it now. You've made it this far in. Why would you stop? Yeah, dude. An enjoyable mood piece, yeah. You missed a part due to a food delivery and it still felt too long. Yeah, when you leave a song running and you come back and you're like, wow, we're still in this part, that can be a wild feeling. But I think for like background music, it works really well. It's a little too slow for active listening, but still, by the end of this track, there were quite a few layers. It took us 8 minutes to get there, but there were quite a few layers. And I really like where it landed. And this was a track that's really about this journey, about spending so much time with each of these individual parts before you get to hear them together. Like stretching out a post-rock song further than it should have been and finding something deeper within that stretched out exploration. And see, I think that's interesting too, because there's distorted guitars in here. What they're playing is certainly metallic, but it's not really a metal song, and it doesn't have any of the abrasive elements that doom metal typically has. So I do think it not being offensive is oddly a compliment in this case. Because I agree with that sentiment, but it's also not a phrase I would ever use for doom metal. So I think they're doing something really interesting here where there's a metallic flavor or spice to it, but it's not the main deal, which is how doom metal typically is. I will say though, the weakest parts are the growls. Just, I don't know, it seemed to disrupt what I was enjoying in the music, which is pretty typical for growls, but I think in this case, there's so much melodic and harmonic qualities going on that they really do not only just distract from them, but also take the place of them. Usually we would lose a lead element to bring in the growls. So it reduced the track as far as what I was enjoying in it. Interesting song though. And I think that was our double pick at 10 minutes. So, all right. So we were doing 13 and a half today. That's not too bad. We should still end at a decent time then. Although we're only 3 songs in and the first hour is almost up. So I hope y'all are ready for a big stream. I think this one's going to last a while. All right. Moving on. We got some Stab City from As Tall as Lines. I've never heard of this group, but I do like this album art here. Kind of neat. Let's see, what can we do here? It's just very well designed. I love the little outline on the right side of some faces. Also, there's this cool design on this white moon or circle or whatever that is. Actually, they all do. It's sort of mixed media. Some things look drawn, but then like some of the brown circles look like it's, I don't know, wood maybe? The white circles almost look like, I don't know, napkins or something. It's very interesting. And then there's a wood texture on the background too. The circles with the paper towel design are a bit weird. Yeah, it's interesting. It's mixed media, absolutely. It's caught my attention though, that's for sure. Let's see, do we have context for this? From 2112, a little surprised these guys never made it onto the channel. Slightly proggy rock with a consistently interesting drummer. That is a phenomenal set of words. I'm down for this. Let's kick it. See what's going on. I mean, the song's called Stab City. I'm like, this sounds great. And then the title's all violence. First 4 tracks are a killer lineup. All right, let's dive in.
My heavy head
This is the first.
is full of debris. Sometimes I wish the city would sink in the sea. 'Cause even when I find the love, it's fake. And everything I wanna touch would break. In some strange way, it's like you don't say. You just
Love a good tambourine.
don't say. I've been so tired. I can set free. Open your eyes.
I'm sold already just by the vocals.
The skeleton town with snakes in the grass. Every single breath you take might be your last. And even when you find love, it's fake. And everything you try to touch will break.
Ooh.
So don't say you say. Don't say you say. Don't say you say.
So a 14-beat phrase.
Our crooked feet burn up the street. And every time we're passing by, you feel the heat of 50,000 burning souls.
Yeah, dude, that is a wild phrasing. Particularly the bass and drums.
So don't say you say.
slow this one down. Wait, that's it? I mean, I knew it was only 3 minutes, but I didn't know 3 minutes had passed. Well, I suppose the most disappointing part of this track is that it ended. I would have loved more of this. The brass part, the way that it filled out the sound and created so much electricity, the dual vocal lines, the ways that the vocals contrasted to usually a chest and a head, or just lots of sonic variety with just the two vocal parts. And dude, the bass sounds great. It took me a while to pick up the rhythmic device here. It's a very strange one too. It is still 14 beats, but it's broken up into like, well, the chorus is 4-4-4-2, which is easier to follow, but the verse I still don't know. It's 4-4 something and then 2. And the something is wild because we kind of restart the phrase itself twice before we actually restart it for real to hit beat 1 of the phrase again. So don't be greedy. Oh man. Abrupt. Ah, that's good. I like the spelling error. We should just keep that. That's how it should be spelled from now on. Yeah, just everything about this is enjoyable. It's like a jazzy, rocky thing going on, but it's not, I don't know if I'd call it jazz fusion because it kind of leans more towards the pop and palatable side. Also feels more big bandy than jazz fusion tends to be. And it all just comes together into this delightful bit of well-produced ear candy as every new element just tickles the brain. It sounds phenomenal. That's how language evolves. Absolutely. You make a mistake and then it becomes the thing. You run with it and you make it a non-mistake. Go back to when we first started writing modern English where we just spell things however we want. Oh man. Yeah, you just need the spelling to catch on. Spelling, definitions, whatever. You just get enough people to say it and bam, that's how it works. That's our new language right there. Literally. In this case though, it is literal, it's not figurative. But you don't know because that word now means both itself and its opposite. Because someone said it figuratively and it took off. Yeah, I don't know that I have much else to add to this though. Just absolutely phenomenal, fantastically produced. The layers are great and it is infectious. The beat, the harmonies, the counterpoint. I pulled this down. I got to dive into more. 06, man. I would have been all over this back then too. I wish I had found out about them. They had 3 albums, 04, 06, and 09, and an EP in 07. Is the EP still available somewhere? Because the reason I had to grab this on Bandcamp is because they're not present on Deezer. I think the requester gave me a Spotify link. But this is for Triple Crown Records, so I don't know how easy it would be to find the rest of their albums. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of record labels on Bandcamp because it makes it more difficult to find the rest of an album from a band. Yeah, it is on Spotify, but they only have 1 album, I think, on Deezer, which was a little disappointing, but even more disappointing now that I really enjoy this. But I dove into, what band was it? I think it was the Marmozets. We checked them out on Livestream recently, I believe, and I've been listening to some of their stuff. And their first 3 albums are really hard to find. Their first 3 EPs. Their first one seems to be impossible. I have heard 1 song that I've been told is from it, but I'm not even sure. So I think just on my mind right now, I'm like, oh, geez, an EP from 07. Is that going to be easy to find? That's my first thought about it. And I hate that, dude. Good music, good art in general should not be difficult to access. Buy it on CD. That's... Well, actually, when it comes to Marmozets, I don't think the first EP is available. It was self-produced. And from what the fans have said, it seems like the band is trying to erase these older releases. They don't sell them anymore. They're not on streaming, despite their newer releases being on streaming. It's almost like they don't want to acknowledge that part, which, you know, I get. As an artist, you should have control over, well, as a person, you should have control over everything in your life. But as a fan, I want to hear that old stuff. But yes, I suppose there's always the secondhand market too. That's just going to be super crazy expensive, and I'm not that big of a fan of the band to really want to spend that kind of money to listen to 5 tracks from when they were teenagers. Some bands are just too exclusive. That's fair too. And there's some mystique also to temporary media as well. I'm not a big fan of it in general, but I suppose it is kind of neat from certain perspectives. All right, next up we have Black Fast, Obelisk. This one comes at us from Vermilion Gates. Nice thrash metal with a touch on the melodic side. You'll find the vocals may remind you a bit of Vector. All right, let's kick it. Let's see what's going on here. Yep.
Wired-eyed burning elements in the exhausted immediate time to the imminent slaughter. Running blind, burning mind, overcoming weary. Outcome of the end is as hollow as the instinct. Now against a towering relic, witnessing your famine come your singular possession. Vision spread to build and rip and sever up
The vocals not being monotonous though, they're being shifting perceived pitches. I'm kind of on board with that. No melody. Did they just increase the tempo? Okay, so I wasn't the only one that heard that. A strong clarity to the vocals too, both production and enunciation. You know, I can kind of see the parallel to Ihsahn. Yeah, for the vocals. I love the halftime on the drums. That drum fill was gnarly.
Piercing at the sky and in its shadow a growing fear. Visceral and consuming all yet higher as they build. Legions bled, never fed, naked to the yield. And the truth is so much more commanding of the weaponry to wield.
Alright, cool. Yeah, very subtle, but still feelable. Hey, Novin Styles, what's up? How's your day going? Mine's going all right. Had some great music so far. Can't complain about that. Let's see. 2013. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that. I think a lot of it comes down to the more dynamic, harsh vocals, the melodic riffage. The drum work was just fantastic throughout. There's certainly, you know, the drummer just locking into a groove. That's just a part of thrash metal, but still, I mean, some of those fills were great. I love the shifting intensity underneath the first set of, I guess you wouldn't call it a guitar solo, but the first bridge with the lead guitar harmonizing in there. There were some really great drum shifts in there. Um, it's just, it's got cool moments in it. I don't know that it's consistently for me the third verse, and yeah, I'd say maybe like the last minute or so. I was like, yeah, you know, I've had my fill. Y'all do your one thing very well. And I was good on it. But honestly, as far as thrash metal goes, I found this to be quite a bit more enjoyable than most in the genre. Best thrash you've heard in a long time. See, that makes sense. Because for me, I'd rank this pretty high in thrash as well. It definitely captures the vibe of the genre without being too iterative. It has its own melodic devices. The vocals keep things interesting. If I'm enjoying thrash metal, it probably is some of the better stuff out there. Though I suppose it being melodic also helps too, which kind of leans it into a different subcategory. Maybe traditional thrash metal fans might find it too melodic at times. I don't know. I found that to be quite enjoyable though. And it's clean. I think that's the thing that really stands out to me. Every instrument is clearly heard. The vocals are clearly enunciated. I heard full sentences in this. And once again, I do like having the perceived pitch alterations in the vocals. Being able to hear them kind of shift between three different sounds really helps a lot in my enjoyment of harsh vocals like this. Says the Saint Anger fan. Yeah, I suppose my taste in music isn't aligned with the masses. uh, I guess I did put myself up a little bit there. Like, yeah, you know, I'm a tastemaker. If I enjoyed it, must be good. I don't know. I guess in a sense, I do kind of have a bit of like the same area, like a little bit of crossover into like being an influencer, but I never think about myself that way. I think it's because I don't put too much of my subjective opinions out there for the most part. Other than, you know, I didn't like that, but let's discuss why it was good. You know what I like and what I don't like, but I don't go around ranking music very often. But yeah, that was better than I would expect. Thrash metal with a touch on the melodic side, it was how that was described, and that is not words that typically get me interested. But that was fun. And sometimes all you need is some fun metal. All right, that dude is wild looking. Very angular face and jawline. But I like the swirly colors behind him too. That background's... Oh, it's also segmented into 3 where the middle is wider than the other 2. Oh, that's I can't look away from it. Let's see, do we got everything set up here? I think we do. Is that Attack on Titan? I don't know. From Don Tortoise. Saw you wearing a scout regiment. Yes, it is Attack on Titan. From one of your past vids. With a doubt, this song is a banger. Maybe that's without a doubt. The song is a banger, and since the Attack on Titan movie came out in theaters for a day, I felt this song should be experienced once. Wait, it's supposed to be once more. We're going to make sure the whole comment gets in here. Once more. All right. I actually didn't know there was a movie out, and I haven't watched this series since season 2, when it was already kind of going downhill a little bit, but I'm glad fans are still enjoying it. Let's dive in. See what Sim is bringing to... Oh, we've checked out Sim. We've checked out a whole album of Sim, actually. I remember doing an album review of it. It's funny that more was cut short. Yep. Let's see if it's a once or once more kind of track. Less of more. Y'all are running with this one. All right, let's kick it. Okay, big swings.
If I lose it all, slip and fall, I will never look away. If I lose it all, lose it all, lose it all. If I lose it all, outside the wall, it's to die another day. I don't want anything than just you too. All I ever wanted to do is know what's out there. I refuse to lose me that I fight alone. Yeah.
There's a lot of 2000s new metal in here. And in the verse at least.
Just too young, ignorant and innocent.
Okay.
Like he's there for 19 and 10. Oh yeah.
Reggae with a random flute in the middle of a metal track? I guess this is Sim though.
If I lose it all, slip and fall, will you laugh at me? If I lose it all, if I lose it all, slip and fall, I'll never look away. If I lose it all,
Lorna Short.
if I lose it all, outside the wall, let you die another day. I don't want anything, but just you tell. Big coming down.
All right. I like parts of this track, but very much it's scattered. It's all over the place. And I vaguely remember Sim being a very like channel surfing kind of band where every 4 bars we're doing something totally different. And of course we get a lot of that in here too. But I don't find a lot of cohesion to this. And through that lens, I find it really difficult to like, because so much of what I enjoy is a passing idea. I can get into a section and think, oh, this is pretty cool, but it's so short-lived, and then we move into something that maybe doesn't click as well for me. There's also a lot of competing ideas in here. There is a new metal foundation to everything, but it's always done in a progressive way that's featuring clashing components. And I think that that is a blessing and a curse. In a sense, this is very fresh. There's a lot of sounds in here that I don't think I've heard any other band attempt, but it also creates something that feels full of friction, increasingly focusing on disparate ideas that don't necessarily work well together. It is fun at times, I agree. I want to throw more praise their way for being as daring as they are in places while still sticking to sections that are maybe less daring. For instance, part of that bridge is just a straight up, let's bring the energy down in a new metal track so we can punch back up to the chorus. And that section seemed very iterative, but what came just prior to that wasn't. And so they are changing things up ridiculously fast in all sorts of different directions. I don't know. Sometimes that's cool, sometimes it isn't. And I don't know. I think this is a song that's going to benefit greatly from familiarity. But I also wonder how well it can stand on its own too, given just how often it moves in directions that sort of remove an identity from the track itself, other than a, a lot of strange ideas. And when your identity is lacking an identity, it's kind of tough to recommend it to anyone. It's kind of tough to even recommend it to yourself. When would I listen to a track like this? When I'm sure everyone has their own ideas. Everyone, has playlists or albums or bands or whatever. Maybe you're just in the mood for a very specific sound, but for me, it's usually emotional. Hey, real John Honda, what's up? How you doing? How's your day going? There's a link beneath the video for Patreon. You can head over there, join at the critic tier or higher, and we'll have you in next week. All of today's slots are filled. The lack of cohesion was, yeah, and see, some people are going to not have an issue with that at all. Absolutely. But like for me, I tend to enjoy specific moods. It's very rare for me to enjoy an album that's kind of all over the place. So how do I enjoy a song that's all over the place? If I'm in the mood for something eerie, well, this does that sometimes, but it's anthemic in other places and driven in others. I don't know. It's all over the place. It's trying to do a lot of stuff. And just personally, I don't know when I would listen to something like this. Yeah, today's slots are overfilled, that's for sure. We're listening to more today than we normally do. I still got to give credit to Sim though. There's a lot of techniques and ideas and styles present here, and I think they pull them all off well. I think at the end of the day, I'm just not the audience for this track. I do vaguely remember them having multiple vocalists too, and I don't think we heard that here. So I wonder if that was something they did just for this track, or maybe since the 2015 album that I think I listened to, if they've had a personnel shift. I suppose it's also possible I'm thinking of the wrong band entirely. So let's move on then, before I start saying some stuff that's probably not true. All right. I don't know how to pronounce any of that. Y'all can just read that, I suppose. This one comes at us from Tiger Charm. Project of vocalist Laure Le... Nope, not going to try that one. I apologize if I already butchered the first name. Who sang on most of Igor's albums. Her solo albums have been described as Baroque, avant neoclassical, and experimental folk. She is joined by some of the Igor musicians. All right. Was this the original vocalist for Igor, the operatic vocalist, or is this their new one? Because if it's the original, she's the one who also did Corpo Mente, correct? Thanks, shading. That helps a ton. What would I do without you helping me pronounce that? All right, let's dive into this. See what's going on. I'm excited either way. Both of the vocalists that I've heard from Igor are fantastic. Oh, it's okay. Thank you. So it is the Corpo Mente vocalist. feels like the track is just getting started. Actually, right now it feels like it's kind of still trying to get started. But it's almost over. Yeah, I like parts of that. I like where it was heading. I just don't think it ever really got to where it was going. As Observe the Train described it, it never finds its footing. It really surprised me 3 minutes into this track when I looked up and saw we were 3 minutes in that it felt like we were still trying to figure out what we were doing. It most likely is intentional, this feeling of consistently restarting, but I don't get it. And maybe if I knew the words, that would help. Maybe familiarity would help. Just kind of seeing how the structure is on this from, I don't know, a better vantage point. I don't get it though. The drums sound great. The violin lines are cool. I love how they play around and alongside the vocals. Experimental Baroque is not for everyone. That's yeah, that's a fairly accurate right there. And see, that's interesting too, because when I think of Baroque, while not quite as complex as Renaissance, it's still fairly involved style. I would think that an experimental version of it would be more involved. But I guess the experimentation is, what if we took Baroque and simplified it? And that makes me wonder too, if there aren't some underlying patterns within this I just wasn't able to pick up. Is there a fugue in this maybe? Is there variation? Just because it's minimal doesn't mean that it is simple. You're not supposed to get it, you're just supposed to enjoy it. I mean, that's fair. Something like this, though, it feels more cerebral. Part of me wants to enjoy it by understanding it. Simple music, pop music, radio rock, that stuff I can just vibe with every day. You give me some pop punk, I'm not going to try to overanalyze it. I'm just going to enjoy it. But something like this, I feel like I need to know it. Yeah, what if you enjoy getting it? Exactly. I'm going to pull that one down simply because I've enjoyed everything this vocalist has worked on. Corpo Mente is still the self-title is still one of my favorite albums. Her work in Igor has always been a highlight to me within that. So, oh, speaking of, I know they had a different operatic vocalist for a while, but it just dawned on me that the last few singles from them haven't had an operatic female vocalist on them. Did they have a personnel change in the last year? What if you enjoy it because you easily get it? I mean, that's quite possible too. There's not a lot of depth to it. It's fun and bouncy. That's all you need to get. It's possible. But yeah, that never, I don't know. I never even thought about that. I just kind of accepted it. That's just the kind of music they're making. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I get this one. Experimental Baroque. Is there any other experimental Baroque that y'all listen to? I'd like to have something to compare this. I mean, experimental is like the big umbrella term for things that aren't typical, but I wouldn't mind checking out some more stuff within this, aside from this album. Kind of see what else there is to offer here. Although it is sort of a niche thing, particularly within a metal and rock community, so I understand if no one has any recommendations. All right. This one I've been looking forward to because of the description here. The artist is Autolux. We're looking at the track Future Perfect, which it does say demo of Change My Head, so I'm going to assume this is a bit of a rougher mix. I also have not heard Change My Head, so I don't know how this is going to relate to that. However, the context here, from Off by 50, the band formed by one of the guys in Failure after their original breakup. I dig Failure. I think y'all know that by now. We've done 3 album reviews from them. I think their entire discography. And one of them was a little bit of a miss. I think it was hit and miss within the album. But the other 2 were solid. I'm excited to see what this dude did after that. Let's dive in, see what's going on with this track, Future Perfect. Nirvana there.
There's only one voice you can count on to keep you down. Skin the breeze and stripe the ceiling.
Y'all seeing that flashing too? Is that just me? Oh, it does show up in OBS too. You know, that Sim track is really standing out in today's lineup of focus songs. That swirly delay off on the side of the vocals. Maybe it's not a delay, maybe it's backing track. I remember when the first one was, and I remember watching some live footage of the new one, but I just find it interesting that their singles from last year didn't have any. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that one down just to check out more because I kind of like the soft grunge sound in general, but I did find this track to just be a little too slow and monotonous for me. But I wonder how much of that is part of this being a demo track. Like if I went and listened to Change My Head, maybe that would sound better. This one certainly is lacking punch, I think, production wise. But I don't know. I think I just want a little more out of it. Maybe even just a little more tempo would be fine. It's just so incredibly locked into that one thing it does. And there is a little bit of contrast between the verse and the chorus. And I like that. It reminds me of some of my favorite grunge groups and post grunge. To one note, yeah, it needs to do something. The shift into the noisier chorus works, but I mean, maybe it is just production. If that had more punch to it, more volume, not volume in sound, but volume in size, I think it would work well with like a, I don't know, 5% tempo increase too, but maybe the sloggingness of it, a feeling like it just takes forever to get to that next section is part of it too. Maybe by Change My Head, he feels like he's just not living optimally. And if he could just swap out his minds, things would be better, but it's not. And maybe his life feels like he's moving through molasses. I don't know. It could all very well be intentional. Felt woozy and depressed. Absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely too slow for me. Stark contrast to that thrash metal track we had earlier that was moving at a brisk pace. Igor changed vocalist in 2021. Lauren left first due to his stance on vaccine. Whoa, I'm curious what was going on there. Laura left afterwards in the middle of rehearsals for future shows. Igor recruited JB LaBelle. Is that the dude who does the harsh vocalists on tracks like Headbutt? In the same year, and Martha Alexandra as the mezzo soprano in 2022. Okay. Still doesn't explain why there's no female vocals in the latest singles. But I think that does explain where the harsh vocalist came from that's been in their latest singles. But no, I think that this song does what it does well. It feels like a dragging of the feet. It feels like a heavy weight, at least compositionally. But I just don't know if it's enjoyable to listen to. Like you can create, I mean, doom metal is kind of based around these same ideas taken to a further extent. And that can be enjoyable to listen to. Grunge as a whole is kind of based around these kind of vibes. Woozy and depressed. This one just, I don't know, something about it. It was missing the oomph, that X factor to elevate it. And I don't think I know what it is, what it needed to do that, to be that next level track. I gotta check on something real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up our final 5 tracks here. All right, thank you all for your patience. What did I miss here? Female operatic vocals in the newest songs, though. Headbutt had them? I don't remember Headbutt having them. Am I just, maybe I blocked it out? I remember choirs. I might have to go back and listen to a couple of them. Lauren refused to get vaccinated, so Igor kicked her out. Interesting. Given the way that was worded, I figured it would have been the inverse. All right. Next up, we have So Hideous. We've had them on the channel a couple of times now. Wait, she's still a part of Caterpillar? For some reason, I thought Caterpillar was a different vocalist. I don't know. I might have to, I haven't listened to anything from them in a long time, though. I thought they were disbanded. I might have to check out some of their new stuff, if they've been releasing some new stuff. All right. This one comes at us from Scarlet Letterman, No Context. We're going to check out the track Souvenir Echo. Let's see what's going on here. Really quiet violin tremolo. I'm certainly intrigued. I want to see where this goes, but I'm not quite grabbed yet. We got a lot of brass today. This is the third track, I think. Big explosive moment. The drums, man. More brass today? Oh man, this is good. Brass tacks. That's just over. All right. I think I've enjoyed other tracks from them more, but this one ended in an interesting place. Very much locked into one rhythm. The drums, the guitars, the strings, the brass, the vocals, they're all in on this one idea. And it's cool, it's powerful. It took a long time to get here though. And I don't think that the build-up necessarily worked as well for me. And I wish that there was maybe just a little more layering going on as far as different ideas there at the end of the track. But as far as like achieving this monolithic sound and building into that, yeah, dude, the ending has impact. Incredibly powerful finale. Whoa, the youth worship explosion. Are you back from your trip, or are you just popping in for a moment? Also, how are you doing? It's been a little quiet. Mark has done his best to fill in your slot as a general troll, but he's a little too kind for it at times. Just popping in for a bit. Well, I hope everything's going well with you and you're enjoying your time. But yeah, the finale to this, I think, is really what stands out to me. Everything else is build up for that, and it never quite clicked. But I think sometimes that's what slow burns are all about, man. It's the journey, not the destination. Well, actually, this was the destination for me. The journey was the thing that was less interesting. That's not how it's supposed to work. I don't know, man. Maybe I just got to give it another go. Like I said, I've enjoyed other tracks of theirs. Felt a bit more dynamic. But this one has really great storytelling and atmosphere, and I'll give them that. Looking to escape to the mountains in my final week. Wow. Doing some climbing there. It's hot over there? Dude, I don't know what's hot to you. I was saying earlier, though, that we had a 111 Fahrenheit real feel down here in Florida last week. And it's just, you walk outside anytime between like 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. and you just melt. Yep. 95 feels like 115. That's how it's been over here too. Don't go outside much. I feel you, dude. I feel you. I use an electric scooter to get around pretty much everywhere. And I dread leaving the house. So I feel that. All right. I wish I had more to say about this track. I do think that there's some interesting ideas within it, but I'm missing that grand scheme. I'm missing like the larger perspective on how it all fits together, other than just slow burn and big ending. I think this is something that maybe for a traditional reaction, I'd have a bit more focus on it specifically. I might be able to come to some sort of conclusion, but for a bit of a lighter listen, I don't really have much going on here. I don't have much going on here as far as criticism. If you ignore the trash, oh yeah, Vietnam. Never been. Vietnam cosplaying as Switzerland? That sounds wild to me, as someone who's never been to either. But they seem like very different places. So, very wild. All right. We're going to move on. We hopefully have something a little lighter here. We have Serj, Tankian, Ihsahn, and Devin Townsend featured on this one, which seems like is going to be a blast. Yeah, dude, I'll look forward to those. 100%. I love seeing pictures of places. I don't know why. After I said that, I was like, dude, that sounded very insincere. Maybe it was the, the vocabulary. I love seeing pictures of places, like just a generic sentence. But it's true. I do. I don't get to go very many cool places. So I enjoy them vicariously through other people's photos. Let's see. I don't know who Ray Harmony is. We have the title We Are. It looks like it lines up. Let's see. We have context for this. Emperor Samuel. Why can't I? Samuel? I have this somewhere, don't I? Yes, Samael. I have a list of pronunciations in a text document I keep open. Emperor Samael, 666. The song was made for Nelson Mandela Day. I didn't know there was an international Nelson Mandela Day, but there is. July 18th for his birthday. Looks like it was originally held on 2009. Yep, that was the first official declaration of it by the United Nations. All right, let's dive into this and see what Ray Harmony, Serj, Ihsahn, and Devin are all up to today. A little bit of piano in there. Have any of y'all heard of Ray Harmony? I don't think I ever have. That's why I'm kind of curious. Maybe he's a vocalist for a band or something? Okay. I mean, to get these three vocalists featured, I would assume they're not necessarily a small artist. music lecturer. I don't understand the music video though. A YouTube channel with 10 million views. Okay. That checks out. I like how it still feels like a rock track despite the guitar part being played by the piano. Something about that just fits. I haven't heard Devin yet. Uh, hmm. Well, I think my lack of comments during the track is probably already not a good sign. It's not like I was over here jamming out either. I don't know. There's so much about this that is either just fine or ends up perplexing me. The track seems to follow a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus idea, and the verses are eerier while the choruses are more expansive. They also had like visually this whole sort of like universe concept where you like fly into the cosmos, and maybe that was something to do with the expansive feeling in the chorus, a feeling of being a part of something larger. But I don't know, it's so palatable. I think that this really is one of those times when, in maybe the most negative way possible, this is just an inoffensive track. I don't really find a lot in here that's super catchy. I do think Serj did a great job singing what I think is the chorus. I originally called that the verse when I laid out the structure, but I think that did come back often. I do find it interesting that Devin was a featured name here, despite I don't think he sung, but there was a female vocalist featured twice who I don't know who that was. That would have been kind of, they seemed more integral to the track than Devin did. But I don't know. The music video didn't really make much sense to me. I'm really confused about the use of the tribal imagery. I did find it exceptionally comical playing those hand drums along to the bass drum and snare patterns. Those sounds don't come out of those instruments, and yet they lined them up perfectly, and that created a weird sort of dissonance in my mind. But yeah, I just musically, it didn't really grab me. The ending of the track just seemed to drag on. Visually, it didn't grab me, and I don't really understand the benefit of having these vocalists on here. Serj has a unique voice, absolutely, and I guess that adds a little bit to the track in a way that another vocalist couldn't. His timbre isn't really replicated by anyone else, but I don't think that his timbre really added much to the track either. I think we could have had two totally different vocalists here and the song would have been just fine. And as usual, when you have groups of vocals like this, what I really want to hear is what they can do together, not how they each have their own verse. And I think that's just me having friction with the way that music like this tends to get made. I had the exact same complaint about the Poppy Spirit Box Evanescence combo that we had. They'll defend the guest in terms of making sense with the lyrics. Okay. And see, that's an entirely different side of this that I'm not bringing into consideration at all. So maybe it does make sense to have them doing the vocals this way for a reason I don't understand, or having these vocalists. But I don't know. I think, I mean, part of it too is I see Ihsahn, I see Devin, I see Serj. I don't know who Ray Harmony is, but these three people tend to work on exceptional things. I don't think they've ever attached their name to something that's just been eh. And so I kind of put this way up. I had high expectations for this track, and that's on me. I was expecting it to be something it wasn't going to be. It didn't want to be. So maybe on a subsequent listen, I might be a little easier on it. If those were the lyrics, I would laugh so hard. Oh my geez, just reading that would throw me into a fit. That would be phenomenal. And oh man. Yeah, but I still think that that's just me and collabs in general. I mean, whether it's rock or pop or hip hop or even metal, anytime you feature someone, they get a part. You know, in hip hop, they might get a verse. In pop music, they might take a chorus, or they might do the bridge or something. In metal, they might be, you know, they might contribute a guitar solo. But it's like they get the portion to be themselves rather than to be a part of the band. And I think that's just the way music is right now. I think it's very rare to hear featuring a musician and then have them incorporated into the track in a way that feels natural rather than in a way that feels like a spotlight. All right, pair. Hope you enjoy the rest of the music, and I will just assume that you do, even if you're not typing. And I hope you're not typing while you're driving. Devin and Ihsahn are instrumentalists as much as they are singers. See, I find that really interesting because Ihsahn 100%, but Devin, I never associate Devin with his guitar work. It unless there's a track out there where he just shows off in a way he doesn't otherwise, he seems to be a solid rhythm guitarist who plays when he needs to, but I've never really heard him do anything that feels signature or lead to me. He seems to be a vocalist first who can play the guitar. Playing a Magic the Gathering tournament while listening? That's wild. I hope you're winning. Pairs off to find who's Ray Harmony. Oh, dang. That sucks. Well, maybe your luck will turn around. Maybe you'll draw that mana card you need or something. Is Nightmare still a thing? A black deck card who gets +X depending on black mana. I don't know, dude. I haven't played Magic the Gathering in like 27 years. Oh, $0 tournament. That's good. What vocalist would you want on your music if I could pull anyone? Oh, geez. I don't know, dude. I think it would depend on what I'm writing for. I would write for the vocalist. So I'd want someone I think who fits the mood or vibe. It's not like I would just write a track and say, you know, I want this famous person to sing it. It would be designed for them. Yeah. But as far as who I would want to work with, dude, I don't know, man. The emo greats, I'll just throw it there. Burt McCracken, Gerard Way. I don't know, man. I don't really think I have like, I'm fans of bands, not really specific people. So I think those are the only two like specific vocalists I can think of that I would want to work with. Oh, I hadn't even, there's a lot of piano work in that track. I hadn't even thought that maybe Devin would be doing that. Devin plays a lot of stuff. Again, I've never really seen him like show off in any way, but he seems to be competent enough in a lot of instruments, which absolutely checks out with the kinds of music that he writes. It tends to be a very wide composition. It's like he knows how to write for a lot of instruments, but he's not like a master at any of them. That's kind of the vibe I get. He's more of on the composer side, where he can play some of the parts if he needs to. All right, right off the bat, dude's got a trombone while crowd surfing. Someone had told me I'm going to enjoy this. This thumbnail says that too. I'm excited about this one. All right. Craig Owens. I don't know how to write for his voice, I don't think. But two, I've also heard that he's just incredibly difficult to work with, which I guess brings in another side. Like Burt McCracken seems easier to work with these days, but when he wasn't sober, he seemed to be a handful. But yeah, I think Craig would be cool to write a part for because it's so outside of what I normally write. His range is just so high. Yeah, that'd be a unique track, I think, to tackle. But I don't know if I'd specifically want to work with him specifically. I'm going to put that word again. All right. This is not fully updated. What am I missing here? That one. All right. This one comes at us from No Man is an Island. Brass, metal, trombone, trumpet, drums, lots of sound manipulation, all coming together to create something unique. Recently saw these guys live and I had so much fun. Dude, just based off that description, based off of the thumbnail, live, I think is where you got to see these guys. Let's dive in though, see what's going on with this track. I'm sorry, is that the trombone? Yeah, I was expecting like metal with brass, not the brass is the metal. The brass is the metal. Brass. Band name means heavy. Oh, they got a sense of humor too. That's good. That's good. Maybe he did in a previous shot. I haven't seen it though. Oh yeah. I thought it was just because he was using the same microphone. But I guess he did kind of work his hand around the back of it. Devin's a great guitarist. I mean, granted, again, I can't say I've listened to a lot of his work. I just haven't seen that. But I'll take your word for it. I'm pretty sure you've listened to more of his work than me. So I like the concept of this a lot more than the song. I thought the intro and the outro were probably the best parts as it felt cohesive. It had this energy to it of like this, I don't know, stomping anger. But the rest of the track just sort of became sound. And it never really seemed like it went anywhere. It never felt like it was developing into anything. I suppose as sort of a noise or more avant-garde approach, I can appreciate it. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have a lot to say about the music. To me, this is definitely a production first kind of thing. Hearing these instruments do what they're doing, sounding like this, is very cool. But it's also on the minimal side as well. You have two instruments that are both monophonic and a vocalist who plays one of them and can only do one or the other. So you end up with drum parts and then two monophonic lines. And there's really only so much you can get away with that. For something like electronic music, something like is the group Moonhooch, who makes like electronic music with saxes. I think that works well because the music's already a bit on the simpler side. But for this, which feels like it's trying to evoke the feelings of doom metal at times, you really need chords to embody that. And I think that's where I find it just feels the most lacking, is harmonically it's not there. Yeah, a novelty song that doesn't go past its gimmick. That's how I see it. And I think Sonata Frost are onto something there too, that this could just be one song like this. It's possible that the rest of their discography sounds different. Maybe this is just designed to be a big, punchy song. And maybe they do some other things other times, maybe stuff that's more melodic, maybe, or find other ways to incorporate this heavily distorted brass sound in more interesting ways. An introduction, yeah. More developed ideas. All right, so they do other things. I'd be interested in that to see what else they have going on. All right. Yeah, definitely fun. Unique, and I'll give them props for inventiveness. It is wild to see these bands continue to push sound this way. I think it's very cool to find people trying to make metal, or I guess maybe in this case, punk might be accurate too. This feels very hardcore, with non-electric instruments, aerophones, and traditional brass and woodwinds. So I still really love that side of it, the inventiveness of it. Just musically, it didn't grab me. All right, we got some Icarus the Owl here. I've always enjoyed them in the past. I've been looking forward to this one. Context from Jasper. More Icarus. Some funky structure on this one. A bit repetitious compared to most, but one of my favorite tracks by them either way. They wrote hooks that are to die for. They're just everywhere in every song. Yeah, I can agree with that. The few Icarus the Owl tracks I've heard, always super catchy. All right, let's kick it. See what they're bringing to the table.
Upon the boulevard that runs right through your heart, I'll leave it all behind, but you can't change mankind. Do you really think that you can love a monster? Love a monster? I am nurtured by nostalgic movie scenes of the lovers wiping their memories clean. Do you really think that we have each
Reminds me of Coheed. Mumford Core.
They are just children, so let them go. It's not a world we should have exposed. They don't know the person inside of me. My only friends are those I've tasted. You became a murderer.
Oh, dude. The snare work.
So tell me a thing about love, honesty. The answer you it lies. Find yourself a new alien. Just underneath your fingernails, the knife that's in your back teeth. Will you protect your life or take it out there? He runs himself to death. You know, criminal cast a stone at the
It is tough to keep up with this though. Oh, that little vocal crack. Yeah, okay. That drum part right there is so good. All right, man. Have a good rest of your trip. gotta dig into this band. I have never heard a bad track from them. I can see where Helicon's coming from though. About 10% going on too much. I mean, we got wild lead guitar over here. We have a secondary, more minimal lead idea over here. The bass is going crazy. The drummer is playing melodic drumming throughout most of this. And then there's 2 vocal lines going on at any time. It is dense. It's also a little chaotic. There's so many parts that are sort of conflicting with each other and creating these clashing elements. But it's not clashing harmonically, it's just clashing focus-wise. It's kind of tough to figure out what you should be listening to on something like this, and I think that's where exposure to this type of writing comes in handy. This, I feel like, is, albeit a poppier style, but still something close to post-hardcore, and reminds me a lot of groups like Hail the Sun. Less aggressive, less dark. This is certainly brighter. Oh, you know what's a really good comparison, though, is Dance Gavin Dance without the screaming. And I think when you listen to more of this, it just becomes less difficult. I mean, that's just how music works. That's how everything works. You get more exposure to it and it becomes easier to listen to. I do think, though, that this is one of their more complex tracks we have heard on the channel. I absolutely loved it, though. There's just no moment where you can be bored if you're looking at different things. Everyone is constantly doing very neat ideas. I'm on board with the vocals, but I generally like these vocals anyways. They remind me a lot of Coheed and Cambria. What else? It is monotonous, though. I will agree with that. This track has one sound and it explores that sound for the entirety. They find different ways to explore it, but that breakdown of a lead movement, more minimal movement, bass movement, melodic drumming, and dual vocals, that doesn't change. The harmonic structure doesn't change. A lot of this is handled very similarly from start to finish. It's also, though, complex temporally. Parts of this are in 4/4, but the chorus, for instance, is in 11/4. And then the way that they break up those 11 beats is even more difficult to groove to. It's not like 4/4/3 or something that would be easier to digest. I'm not actually sure how it gets broken up. I didn't get a chance to dive into that, but it's 11, which is an odd one already. It's overwhelming. I can't disagree with that, but it's an overwhelming style that it works for me, and I want to hear more of. I want to. It's like a puzzle. I want to understand it. I want to break it apart and then put it back together. And I'm totally on board for that. I think the first time we heard Icarus the Owl, I was kind of blown away. I remember it being a bit poppier, less mathy than this. And every song after, I think I've enjoyed more. I got to check them out. We're going to wrap this up with the Walkmen, with the track The Rat. I have no idea what we're in store for on this one. I don't even think the context gives us much information. Coming at us from Chris, here's my track, Some Absolutely Incendiary Drumming. That can go in a lot of different ways. Let's find out what's going on here. Song about regret? Okay. mean, so far the drumming just doesn't let up.
calling out your name. Can't you see me? I'm pounding on your door. You've got a nerve to be asking a favor. You've got a nerve to be calling my number. Can't you hear me? I'm bleeding on the wall.
Yeah.
Can't you see me? I'm pounding on your door. Can't you hear me when I'm calling out your name?
Those are all downstrokes, aren't they? Yep. Gotta get that intensity in there.
When I used to go out, I would know everyone that I saw. Now I go out alone, if I go out at all. When I used to
Oh.
go out, I'd know everyone I saw.
What a line.
Now I go out alone, if I go out at all. When I used to go out, I'd know everyone I saw. Now I go out alone, if I go out at all.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of the Strokes.
You've got a nerve to be asking a favor. You've got a nerve to be calling my number. I'm sure we've been through this before. Can't you hear me? I'm bleeding on the wall. Can't you see me? I'm pounding on your door.
So he finishes it with Can't You Hear Me Pounding on Your Door? And then we have the drum part there at the end, just doom, 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 doom. Very straightforward, knocking on someone's door. The way it simmers with controlled rage. Yeah, dude. There's a lot I enjoyed about that. It definitely feels a bit of an older style. It wouldn't surprise me if this was, I don't know, maybe 90s, maybe even a little older. The vocal style feels more modern, but those synths, man, or that synth, that was that was ancient. Very interesting. But yeah, it's a straightforward punkish track. Lots of chord progression work, bass just laying in the low end, and the drummer just not really quitting. 16th notes for like the first 60% of that. 2004. Okay. Yeah. So I was close. I mean, I guess I kind of cheated. I said 90s, beginning of the turn of the century. So I'm kind of looking at like a decade and a half there. And then I also threw in the 80s. Before that, maybe. I just cast a wide net. I was going to get something right. But yeah, the drummer's just 16th notes all the way through. Never really lets up the intensity until the bridge. But I think what really pulls it all together is the character of the vocalist. There's just a lot of emotion put into that. I think it's really easy to connect with that performance on like a human level. with the lyrics as clear as they are, to be able to pick up on it on a first time listen and feel the emotion of the delivery, that pairs well with the emotion from the chords being played and the intensity of the drums. It's very surface level stuff. It's simple writing, but it's incredibly effective at delivering this narrative. Yeah, happy Father's Day. We started the stream with that. We'll end the stream as well. US Happy Father's Day, at least. I know at different days around the world. Found that out today. I said I know as if, this is just common knowledge. No, I found this out earlier. But yeah, definitely a good way to wrap it up, though. We've had some difficult to digest tracks today, and we ended up with something a little easier. Other songs there's features the vocalist on piano. Dude, I would love to hear that too. Kind of see what he's bringing to the table, especially if they ever, do a dual vocal idea, which y'all know I love my dual vocals. I'd love to see what they present that way. Okay, cool. So another place that has it today. Oh, not the vocalist? All right. Oh, I had read that opposite. I read that the pianist did vocals, but the vocalist plays, or somebody, not the vocalist, plays piano. I see. Dang, this went over even further than I expected. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out on your Sunday and enjoying some of this music. Pretty sure the theme for today has been focus. A lot of these tracks have just done their one thing very well. And we've had an outlier. I think Sim was an outlier. Probably another one. It's probably going to be the name of today, though. This VOD will be out soon. Normally I'd say within the hour, but that doesn't give me a lot of time today. But maybe within an hour? Early access for tomorrow? I don't know, dude. It's already 2. You might not have early access simply because it is Father's Day and I got some stuff planned for today. I thought I'd have more time to jump on those. But otherwise, get stoked for this week's theme. It is the final week of Pride Month, so we're going to check out some more LGBTQ artists. And we got some cool special selections lined up for this week as well. All right, until next time, y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Enjoy your Sunday. And catch y'all later.